So actually, I had applied to many countries, to many companies over here a year ago also, but I saw that mostly my resumes were getting rejected, and I thought that there was something wrong. So I thought that let's leave this resume part to the people who are already in the market.
So, welcome back everybody to our YouTube channel. Today I'm here with a former coachee of ours, Abhishek, and I'm having an interview with him today. My name is Tamo, and nice to meet you, Abhishek. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you, Tamo, for having me here.
No problem. Thank you that you found the time to make it. You just came back from work 10 minutes ago, you told me. So you were rushing home and then came here. Thanks for that. I really
Okay.
appreciate that. Yeah, Abhishek, maybe firstly you introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure. So I am a Java developer, and I had been working in India for last 5 years, and I recently moved to Germany. That's a very short introduction for me of me. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're as you said, you're a Java guy. You are from which city in India originally? You lived in Bangalore, right?
Yes, I was based out of Bangalore. Yes.
Okay, and you
Mm.
work there. You have like around 6 years of work experience, 5, 6 years of experience,
Yes,
mainly into
yes,
Java. Like what tech
yes.
stack? You got.
Yeah, mostly into Java, and I was mostly focused towards the backend part of the projects. I used to handle backend projects,
Mhm.
and I had a little front end experience also, but I mostly highlighted on the backend part. Yeah.
Yeah, what exactly like Spring Boot, and microservice
Yes.
architecture, those kind of
Yes.
technologies?
Yes.
Okay.
Spring, and in databases we used to use MySQL or MongoDB both, and microservices were a part of my experience here.
Okay, perfect. And Abhishek, you had a good career in India. I mean, you worked for some really big companies over there, worked with
Yeah.
a good tech stack, all of that.
Yeah.
And then you decided to move to Germany. So
Exactly.
now here you are in Germany now, in a small city in southern Germany. And
Yeah.
first of all, why did you decide it's a good idea to come here?
Uh, Firstly, I wanted to explore Europe. So travel was a big motivation for me. And secondly, I also wanted to explore how business happens on a global scale. Mostly, my projects over there in India uh, inclined towards only the Indian markets, but I also wanted to understand how the markets in the global world, or at least in Europe, they work, and also get a chance to explore Europe along the way. So I thought, why not go move over there and get more insights from people and get to experience a lot of new culture. So yeah, that was pretty much my motivation to come here.
Cool. How old are you? You're 28 or 29 or
Yeah,
something,
I'm
right?
I'm 29 now.
Living the life. Cool.
Yeah.
When did we meet? We met this year. I think you signed up to our program in April, was it?
Yes, yes, yes. Towards the mid of April, we had signed up
Hmm.
with you. I had signed up
Okay.
with you. Yeah.
How did you find out about our services, first of all?
I when I was looking out at options, I was scrolling through LinkedIn, and then I found some posts from you, from Find a Job in Germany, and
Hmm.
from there I went to the website. I dig a lot bit deeper, and I explored the contents, and then I saw that okay, let's get in touch and let's see what is there for me. Yeah.
And why did you decide to do it this way with us? Why did you decide to take our help, our support?
Oh, so actually, I had applied to to many companies over here a year ago also, but I saw that mostly my resumes were getting rejected, and I thought that there was something wrong. So, I thought that, let's leave this resume part to the people who are already in the market, because and obviously went through the LinkedIn profiles of all of you, and I saw that you were already ex recruiters at most of the companies. So I thought that it would be perfect to get my resume made by you guys, and that way I could just see an opening into the market. So that's why I decided to to get along with you. Yeah.
Cool, perfect. And yeah, you started, it took, I think, 2 months. You got a great offer. We come
Yeah,
to that in a
exactly.
second, but
Yeah,
you said it. Writing a good resume is key, like to start with, to get you calls.
yeah,
But
exactly, exactly.
what also happened next? Like once we did a good resume, a
Mhm,
good CV,
mhm.
what happened next?
After a good CV, we had a lot of coaching material, which was pretty much exhaustive, and it had a lot of FAQs answered. Basically, that was my one-stop go for all the questions which I had. And also, I was hooked up with with coaches, and those coaches, they were always available on the communication platforms, and my questions were answered very rapidly. And yeah, and I also had some training sessions over the interviews, like how the interviews would be, what things to expect. So yeah, those things really helped me a lot. And as I said, the coaching material was quite exhaustive, and it had
Mm.
prepared a lot of which helped me prepare a lot just before the interviews. So yeah.
Perfect. So yeah, as a next step, then we showed you how to apply, right? We also applied, and you
Yeah,
got calls, and then as you said, we
exactly.
prepared. We helped you with the interview
Yeah,
process
yeah.
because the interview process from India is a bit different to what it is in
Hmm.
German. Well, what would you say? What were the biggest differences for you if you compare an
Hmm.
interview process with an Indian
Hmm.
company and with a German company?
Mostly in India, it is, I think it's technical. They focus more on the technical side of the things. Like, I'm not saying that here in Germany they do not focus. They do have a tech round, but in addition to that, they also have a behavioral round or a CV round, which whatever name you can say it, and that is more which goes deep dive into retrospecting your career, that why were certain choices made by you, and why did you make a such career move. And say they also, basically in Germany, they are also looking at the behavioral, like, aspect of the engineer also, so how a person can integrate into the team, become a team player. So I think that is something which kind of misses out in India. Yeah, so that was a little different, and I had to prepare for it also.
Okay, let's separate that a bit. First, let's talk about the tech rounds. Were the tech
Yeah.
rounds also different to how you knew them from India?
um yeah, they were a little bit different. The tech in India, basically, we generally have a problem solving round, and then after that we have a design round. But here it was more into the theory part of the things, like how good you were at knowing what you are doing, so that and they also kind of check that what led you to make certain decisions, and what were your pros and cons, how good you know the concepts. They focused on those things a lot. And yeah, so yeah, that was it. Yeah.
And if you had to name one or two things which you found specifically important with the German tech rounds, what would that be? Coding challenges, also technical interviews. One or two things which you remember.
um I think they had mostly focused on the design patterns. For me, at least, they had mostly focused on the design patterns and how the Spring works,
Mm,
and how when would you go for a synchronous communication versus an asynchronous communication. If you're going for an async, then which messaging protocol would you use? It will it be a Rabbit or a Kafka messaging broker? So they were trying to know that how much I know, and will I be able to make a good informed decision about employing a certain tech stack.
mm.
Or whenever you are trying to design your code, then how would you structure a code in such a way that it is easily scalable and maintainable. So those small details were the highlights of the interview, I would say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, we always explain that when you write code, especially in coding
Mhm.
challenges here, follow solid principles, right?
Yeah, exactly,
Implement unit tests. That's absolutely key. Otherwise,
exactly.
you're gonna be
Yeah.
rejected. And I remember in your case, especially your experience with Kafka came in handy to get your
Yeah, yeah.
offer, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Even my team is currently is a messaging team. If they deal in Kafka a lot, and I am also getting to work in Kafka, so that is a bonus. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Let's also talk about the cultural fit rounds, the behavioral
Hmm.
rounds you spoke about.
Yeah.
Do you remember maybe one or two questions you got asked which were a bit strange for you?
um yeah, so there was certain questions that how what do you, according to you, let me know that what are the roles of a software developer, or what do you expect a software lead to do, or
Mm,
how a technical lead would perform, you know.
mm,
And then there were certain questions that how would you say that a certain process is agile or not. So those were the questions which I had faced for the first time.
mm.
uh, yeah, so I had to
Yeah.
come up with the answers over there.
Exactly. That's pretty important. I mean, all those questions, usually it's personal questions, it's related to your workflow, it's related to teamwork, right? And it's
Yeah.
also different scenarios, how you work with people in the end, which are
Hmm.
really, really important, especially for your first interview rounds and then for your last
Yeah,
interview rounds. Yeah.
exactly.
And yeah, some people don't believe it, but if you're not good in that, you will never get
Hmm.
hired. Even if you're technically super fit, you will not be hired if you're not good match to their team and to their team culture.
Yes.
Um, and but in your case, I mean, you have obviously very good communication skills. So we trained you a bit, and then you understood what kind of concept, what it comes
Yeah.
down to reply to those kind of questions. Correct?
Yeah.
Perfect. Um, Then you got an offer, I think it was in June, right? Like 2 months after you signed up, you got your offer.
Yes.
And when did you start working in, or like what came next after your offer then?
Yeah, I was very lucky to get an offer very quickly. Within 2 months, I had offers, one offer, and I had another couple of companies which were in the last stages of the interviews. So I had already cleared like 3 or 4 rounds for them, but I had already signed up with my particular company. And once I got my offer, then I had received the contract. We had the offer call with the company, and after that I received the contract. Using that contract, I went to the consulate. I applied for the visa, and apparently in Bangalore it was very fast. It took me only a couple of weeks to get my work visa, and then yeah, the happy face was that to book the flights. Yeah.
Perfect. And you booked the flights. When was your starting date?
It was in September, 1st September.
First
So
September.
I came here like at least 2 days early. So, and
Mm,
I explored the area, and I explored my how to get to the office. So, yeah, those things.
perfect. And your company booked you an accommodation for the start, I guess, right?
Yes, yes. My
Okay.
company had arranged for the accommodation, and I think the relocation was also paid for.
Okay, perfect. And now you're here. Now it's end of, we're recording this interview. It's end of October. So you are here now for 2 months.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, we will have a second part of this interview where we talk a bit more about yeah, how it is to work for a German company and how the first 2 months in Germany were so far.
Okay.
Um, Before we do that, do you have yeah, something else to share, maybe for other Java developers from India, if they
Mm-hmm.
want to approach German companies or if they're in the interview process with German companies, what would you advise them? Maybe one or two things which are important to crack those interviews.
Yeah, sure. I think whichever company you get a reply from, first thing would be to research about the company. Um, go ahead and check out their social media profile, check out their blogs that they have, and and in the first interview itself, if you try to mention them, then it already comes across as a positive thing that the person is actually interested, and it comes across really good. So that the person has well researched, and it shows an intent that the person also wants to join us. Secondly would be, at every interview, just try to retrospect and list down the things which were asked and which you failed to answer in the previous interviews. Basically find out that where you're lacking. Is it the communication, or is it the technical side? And if at all you get rejected, ask for feedback. Yeah, nothing helps more than that.
Exactly. Very good advice.
Yeah,
That's very good. Feedback is absolutely key, improving, because no
exactly.
one will get an interview from the first company they interview with
Exactly.
internationally. I had that one or twice in my career,
Hmm.
that it happened, but most people need at least 10 interviews with different companies to get one
Yeah,
offer, because you need that learning, as you said. Yeah,
exactly.
many thanks, Abhishek, for those great insights, and
Thank you.
yeah, all the best for the next months also and the next years.
Danke,
And
vielen Dank.
vielen Dank. Yeah, you're learning German already.
Yeah, I have catched up on few words, and I'll be starting a course coming in the coming month.
Okay, but one big question: is German necessary? Speaking German necessary to land a job in Germany?
No, it's not. No,
Perfect.
it's
I get that question 1,000 times a day.
no, it's
All
not.
right, perfect. If you are also working in tech and IT, if you're a software developer, I don't know, a DevOps guy, if you're a data engineer, whatever, get in touch with us. And there's below this video, you find a video training we recorded where we explain how we work, what you need to look out for. Watch this video. If you find it interesting, get in touch with us, book a call. We will evaluate your skills. And if we think we can help you, we're going to work with you. And then usually it takes 2 to 3 months and you get an offer here in Germany as well. And then you're going to relocate here. Many thanks, Abhishek, again. It was great meeting you again. See you soon. Bye bye. Auf Wiedersehen.
Bye bye. Auf Wiedersehen.
Ciao.